New camera setup. We're trying this. So I have a camera problem. And that problem is that I have too many and none of them do what I need them to do. We've got 3 cameras going today. We've got this camera, we've got this camera, and we've got this camera. You guys should know that I have like 10 years of experience using cameras to film all manner of things. And it doesn't matter. For me, hopefully we can figure it all out today because I would really like to have just beautifully filmed and edited videos for you. That's what I want. That's what you want. We all want the same thing, but these robots, whoo-hoo, let's fail together. This came in the mail today. This is a brand new watercolor palette. Did I flip it around the wrong? No, this is correct. Ooh, and look at this, my dudes. Look at how elegant and beautiful this is. It's nice. I got it on Amazon. It wasn't that expensive and I can put all my colors here. Excuse me. But you'll notice that there are no paints in this currently. That's because they didn't come with paints. I bought other paints. And this is my first time investing in like a nice watercolor set. So I invested in some Daniel Smith watercolors. These are professional grade. They're not cheap. These are expensive watercolors. And I'm terrified. I'm scared. These are the colors that we're working with. All right, I'm trying to dig down into my art school brain to tell you what kind of palette this is. I believe it's a split primary palette is what I'm doing here, which means I have my primary colors. Ignore them. They married in. And I think what a split primary palette is taking your primary colors, obviously, your reds, your blues, your yellows, and having a warm tone and a cool tone of these things. These are our warm tones of our primary colors. For my yellow, I've got Hansa Yellow Deep, Ultramarine Blue for my blue, and Organic Vermilion for my red. And then my cool primaries are Hansa Yellow Light, Pthalo Turquoise, and Carmine. Now, if I was a better painter, then I could explain to you why I did this. I'm not. That's why we're doing this right now. Here are the stepchildren. And these, like, you don't need them. You don't need browns necessarily. What's cool about a primary color palette is that I can use a combination of these colors to mix anything that I want except for white. And I'll get to that in a second. But because it's smart to start your paintings with like warm underpaintings, warm brown neutral underpaintings, which is what I was taught, I did go for a burnt umber and what I would normally get a raw umber, because you add the word raw to anything and it's a good time. But instead, I got the how do you say that? Quinacridone Deep Gold. I love this color, and I'll show you in a little bit. But before I do that, I gotta talk about white, baby. The only color that you can't combine primaries into is white. And so, I've got white gouache here. Why do I have white gouache? Because white watercolor sucks, and we don't like it. My understanding, because I'm not an expert, but I maybe am more of an expert than you are, which is why you clicked on this video. Or you're more of an expert than I am, which is why you clicked on this video to test me. Tell me my score in a second here. White watercolor works if you want to lighten your colors. Like if you want to get a light pink, for instance, you would add it to red, sure, cool, whatever. But you will always lose the vibrancy of the color if you do that versus using the white of the page and planning out your painting in advance to get to that lightness, right? That said, there's plenty of instances where we do want to add white and use white, and white gouache works as a more opaque alternative to watercolor because the watercolor is always going to be transparent. White gouache, because they're both water-based medium, they will mix together perfectly fine, and you can find it would be good. It would be good. Garrus, can I help you? Thank you, Garrus. You just reminded me. I got a package, and I want to open the package. I know, we're going to paint with watercolors in a second, but like, look. My friend Joel made me something. Yeah! And I wanted, oh my god! I wanted to wait until now to open it. He made it for both my birthday and for Christmas. It says happy birthday and also Merry Christmas. It took me a hot minute to get these made, but I hope it was worth the wait. Much love, Joel. Joel! Oh. Wait, did he say these? Did you make me more than one thing, bud? Oh my god. It's beautiful. Joel! Ah! This is, okay. Wow. This is amazing. I'm hoping that he watches this video. If he doesn't, then I'm just gonna say his name a bunch of times. But yeah, these are from my friend Joel Hunter back in New York, and he's been taking pottery classes and making rad shit. I told him that this was one of my favorite cups, and that I use them to store art supplies in, and he made me a little companion happy boy to go along with my favorite cup, and in addition, one of these guys. This is awesome. So I was gonna use them as paint water, but now I think I want to drink out of it. I could probably drink out of this, right? Can I drink out of this? I gotta text him. Now everyone will know whose palette this is. Yeah! Oh, this one is hard to open. Pthalo, what you doing, baby? I love this deep gold because it is both like a deep brown, and then when you lighten it, it becomes a very vivid, rich orange color. And you guys, And I have my white gouache. Where do I want to put her? Over here? Sure. Ooh, she's dripping. Gross. That's you're nasty. Ew, dude. This is a Stilman and Birn Alpha Series sketchbook. It is my favorite paper. It's my favorite sketchbook paper. It can handle kind of a lot, and so I thought it would be a good paper to work with. So first things first, I want to swatch all these colors. Sometimes the YouTubers I watch will just put music over these parts, and then I skip that part. So I'm gonna keep talking to you and talk about how much I fucking love this orange color. Oh my god. I also think Pthalo is beautiful. That's what I'm using right now. Like, look at the dimension in this color. Although recently I was at a watercolor demo and I asked the instructor, hey, if I'm picking colors to, create a palette like this, what kind of blue would you recommend? And he was like, not Pthalo, because Pthalo doesn't mix with anything. And I was like, cool, already bought these? Fuck me, I guess. I did express that to him. I was like, hey, yeah, I made that mistake already. And he goes, oh, well, do you like painting in vivid colors? And I said, yes. He goes, okay, then you're fine. Isn't that a beautiful gradation of color? Can you see why I was like, I don't want to paint with raw umber when I can have this? All right, I'm gonna take a beat and then do some blending with these and make like a little blendy relationshipy thing right here so I can see kind of how these colors all interact with each other. And then I will talk to you about it. So basically I'm telling you that I'm gonna do a time lapse with music, which is funny because earlier I was like, let's not do that. But now I'm in the driver's seat and that's where the car's going, so. That took so long. Like, hours have passed. I totally understand why some YouTubers just all they do is swatches. Doodle date, I see you. Adam, I understand your frustration when Steph is like, I want to swatch, because it takes hours. But the good news, in those hours, Joel got back to me, and I can in fact drink out of this cup, so. Oh, that's hot! Cup Chan, however, I think I'm gonna keep as like my drawing buddy, so he's gonna be my water cup indefinitely until he shatters on me, and hopefully that'll never happen. So this is my swatch sheet. And what I did is put all of my standard colors on the left here and on the top. And what I should have done was lighten all of these. Watercolor, you're so scary because you can do this. I can just lift the color up. Like it's no big deal. Like it's not been drying for hours. So basically, this is a mixing swatch sheet. This allows me to mix these colors together in order to better understand how the different colors kind of interact with each other. So if you look at like these blues compared to these blues, the Pthalo Turquoise mixes with all these other colors in ways which give us like a much more vivid green range. And then when you mix a Pthalo blue with a red, you get more of a black, like a midnight purpley black color, because Pthalo Turquoise is closer to green than Ultramarine Blue is, and green and red are opposite each other on the color wheel. Colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel will cancel each other out and create blacks or grays or browns that are very neutral toned. And understanding how to manipulate and play with those neutrals is key to being able to paint. It's not something that you want to stay away from necessarily, it's something you want to utilize when you want to utilize it. So it's really cool and interesting that Pthalo and red create this kind of black color for me, whereas ultramarine and red create a much more purpley color. So what this teaches me is if I want to play with purple colors in my painting, I'm going to want to stick to Ultramarine Blue and mix those with my reds, because when I mix Pthalo Turquoise, my cool blue, with my reds, I get black colors. Another thing I discovered that I don't think is very cool is that my Hansa Yellow Deep and my Hansa Yellow Light tend to mix with other colors to create very similar tones, and I am bummed. I'm bummed about that. I think maybe I should have bought a lemon yellow. My basic understanding of pigments, Hansa Yellow Deep and Hansa Yellow Light, come from Hansa, right? Like they both are sourced from the same thing, even though they go in two different directions with warm and cool. When both of these yellows are mixed with other things, I'm not seeing a distinct enough difference between these blends, and that bums me out. I would want my cool yellow to, I don't know, be more interesting. So this map is going to help me moving forward, because now, if there is a color that I want to use, or I'm imagining, I have a better sense of how to mix my paints here to get to it. It's day 2, and I changed my camera. The prophecy foretold it, and it was done. Let's try this lens, because now we have a healthy distance between the two of us, instead of what was happening earlier, which was too close. Too intimate. So here's where we left off. And by where we left off, I mean where I continued to draw last night when the cameras weren't rolling. And so now we have some knots and ropes. Was it hubris that was my downfall? Did I wish for more than I deserved when I attempted to configure a 4th camera to hover above my canvas? Perhaps I was not meant to fly so close to the sun, for like the name of the first boy who ever kissed me, my knowing to press the record button on my overhead camera was forgotten. For hours, I spoke to no one, alone in my pretty office amidst pretty things, without ears to hear or eyes to notice my folly. Perhaps, in this one way, I am like the great artists of the past. I hope that, like me, they too sat alone, painted, and spoke out loud to no one. It is in moments like these that I reflect upon the wisdom of that small green puppet from the Star Wars films. Failure is the greatest teacher, and indeed today, I am but its humble student. I just want... Fuck. Hours lost. Look at it. Look at where we're at. So many things I said were for this camera, and you weren't here. You quit on me. And so I think maybe, while this painting is turning out pretty decent, the failure today is with this camera. I was gonna say with me, but you know what? Fuck it, I'm not taking the blame. Let's keep painting. Where do I start with this, man? How much of this do we want to go over? I did a whole painting of the face that was really quite bad, and then I panicked, and then I gave it like a gradient, and then I panicked some more, and then I did this, and now it's at a place where it's okay. I don't hate it. I'm at a loss. What do we even talk about? It's like we went on a date and it was really good, and then we decided to go on a second date. And that was really good too. And then now it's the 3rd date and we're having this conversation, but you forgot the 2nd date. You hit your head. And now I'm left knowing what that was, but you don't know what that was. And so how can we fall in love? All right, let's change our attitude. Take a deep breath. It's gonna be a good drawing. We're gonna have a good time. You don't have to worry about cameras, because you triple-checked everything this time, and it'll never happen again. Let's mix a hair color. Look at this palette. Look at all of this that I did that you didn't see. I can't get over it. I can't stop talking about it. This is not good. Put this over here, and put this way over here. So, I'm trying to make a black. And And the way that we make black is by putting all of our primaries together. So we gotta add some yellow to neutralize that purple color. And some of that phthalo in here. We're getting closer to it. Okay, I like that this is just a little bit on the green side, a little bit blue, because it's going to complement the background and then stand in a nice contrast to the face and the rope. We're just diving in. Normally I would give her some light in the middle here, this highlight area. I'm trying something new. I'm gonna treat the curtain of her hair here just as like one solid shape. If I want to come in later and add dimension to it, lightness and darkness, then I can do that. This paper, by the way, when it gets wet, it does buckle a bit. But once it dries, it'll relax, obviously. This was crazy. This was very warbly and very wet. Not in like the sexy way, but in the annoying way. If I'm gonna paint a lot on this channel, get used to me making this is wet jokes. Because I think I will do it a lot, and I will forget how frequently I do it, and you will comment, stop. Hey Garrus. Today, my dude, when we were working with pen, it was fine, and you could come and hang out. But today, we are painting, and I care too much about to have die from eating paint. So basically, Garrus, you can be on me, you can be on my mic stand, and you can be on your cage, but you cannot be on my desk. How do the good watercolor painters keep it from looking really streaky? It's drying so fast on my palette, and then I have to add water to it. And whenever I add water to it, I water it down, which gives us the streakiness. He's coming. You gotta go home, bud. Alright, I gotta change the canvas so that I can get this neck without messing it up. So we're painting upside down now, baby! There are some artists who don't need to adjust their canvas at all to get other details in, and that's just not my life. I can use a brush in one direction only, and it's from the bottom left to the top right, and if you want me to go from the bottom right to the top left, it's gonna be bad. Garrus, up there. Alright, I have decided that I don't like this, so I'm just gonna fill it in. Now we know, so we will not make that mistake in the future. I'm gonna come in and add like feathery whispers in here. I'm also gonna zhuzhy up these eyebrows with some of the same color that the rest of her hair is. That's working. Maybe the eyes as well. This might be a mistake. It's not, commit. We got Streak City down here. I didn't fix it, I made it worse. That's fine. And let's do this top knot. Zip, 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 zip. I want to add a highlight, but I'm thinking maybe I should instead layer lighter tones on top of darker tones to keep it milky. I should say buttery, not milky. Milky is a gross way to describe your painting. And when I say buttery, I'm talking about Kelsey Beckett's work. Her technique is so refined that all of her strokes end up looking soft and gentle and like they would feel velvety if I touched them. So I think that's what I want to do with the hair, is just make it feel velvety. I don't know if watercolor is the way to do that, though. But you know what? Combining different ideas together for the first time ever is a great way to exercise your brain, your creativity, and discover new things that you didn't see before. I think the watercolor has caused me to become very devil-may-care. It's okay to just let it go. be a little bit weird and not think about applying the paint. I don't know how to render braids the right way. I just know that what I'm doing is working all right. Maybe every artist feels that way. Or maybe every artist strives to feel that way. I don't know. I'm only one woman in a sea of creators. And I have to pee. I think I want her shirt to be gray. Which works out for me. Got white gouache here. Now I'm thinking, do I use this color on the hair or do I use it on the shirt? Or is it okay to use it in both places? I think it might be okay to use it in both places. And I do want to come into this whole painting afterwards with colored pencil, because I think that they're very complementary mediums. And I know I can strengthen a lot of this drawing with colored pencil, whereas I'm a little bit more timid when it comes to the paint. I think I should add some blue to the... It's a lot of blue. Just a little bit of blue. Add some blue to this shirt. So I did have like a golden hour type thing going on with the head, where I was starting with a really warm yellow on the top, going down to red and pink, and then gradating down to a blue tone. It would be nice to continue that blue down into the rest of this piece, including her hair. So maybe it would behoove me to add some of my Ultramarine Blue to the hair down here. And since it's already streaky, might as well try it. I'm working wet in this hair at the same time that the shirt is still wet, so I'm getting a little bit of bleed over here. But you reap what you sow. I made this choice. I did this to me. Let me get my tiny brush. Doing this hairline makes me think that next time I do a piece like this, I might want to do a study to figure out the best way to apply this paint, because I'm not loving the way that this is reading. It's feeling a little bit hodgepodge, a little bit tossed together. I think adding these bigger strokes is helping to give this hierarchy. So now my eye is like, okay, yeah, I know what I'm looking at, versus looking at all of the tiny itty bitty ones all over the place. Why did I drop braids? Why did I force myself to paint braids? Why do I like knots and ropes and twists? They're a pain. They're an absolute pain to work with. How do I get this to look buttery smooth? How much more do I need to do? This looks all right. It's a good question. When does an artist call their work finished? That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. I'm peeling the bottom, get ready. Ooh, she peel nice. Oh, I love that part. I always love that part. Cool. Let's get the colored pencils out. Ooh, look at them. Look at the beauts. Look at the beauts. I lost them for years. They were floating someplace in my apartment and I could not find them, and I'm so happy that my colored pencils are back in my life. They changed the game. I'm like interested in painting again because of these little guys. Look at that. Look at you can just kind of blush stuff up in ways that watercolor won't really let you. What am I trying to do here? I'm just trying to push some of these values to give the skin a more rich complexity. Now this mouth needs a lot of work, but really I need a lot of work. I'm not great at mouths. Mouths and lips are difficult because they're wrapping around a projection from your skull. Your teeth push everything on your face forward, and so your nose and your mouth are actually not on the same plane that the eyes and the brow are. Like all of that is flat, but the nose and the mouth is projected out because the teeth are like, get out of here. And it's hard for me to do that well. Are you filming? Guys? No! I think this time it just turned off on me. I don't know how long that was off. You and I have to have a talk. When it turns off, it's supposed to go beedaloo, but it didn't. So I'm sorry if we just missed a bunch of this, but like, look, it looks really good, right? Yeah, it looks really good and I'm excited about it. I'm just like mad at the camera. Wow, it's the end of the video. What do I want to say?